Hello and welcome back to the Tin Barn. I'm Pragmatic Lee, and this week's video is going to be just a little tidbit of information. I started not to even do this video just because it is such a simple little project, but then I got to thinking about, well, maybe other folks' mind don't work quite like mine does, and you may be looking for a solution that could be right in front of you. But what we're going to talk about today and work on is a way to store your trimmer accessories. TrimmerPlus is a brand of accessories that add on to your weed trimmer or grass trimmer. Uh, is a brand name. A lot of folks call them weed eaters, but that is actually a brand name. But the cord trimmers, you know, you can get dedicated cord trimmers that have a solid shaft down them, straight or curved, and you can also get the type that have interchangeable accessories. And over the years, I've accumulated several different accessories for the trimmer head. Uh, that accumulation came from several different situations. One in particular is when an ex-son-in-law left with the power head, and he didn't return it, but he left the cord trimmer accessory and the brush cutter. So, and other times I picked up some tools at auctions where the gas head was bad, but it had a good accessory on the end. I think now I've got brush cutter, some like 3 string trimmer heads. I don't remember what all that I've got hanging out there. Here's a quick little picture of them and the way I've got them stored. But what brought that to mind was recently, within the last week or so, I got this pole saw extension, or pole saw accessory, and it came with this 30-inch extension as well. Now with this came a hanger. Simply a little cup with a hook on the end or an eye on the end to go on the hook that slides on, and you've got a way to hang your TrimmerPlus or Echo brand, Troy-Bilt brand, all of them, all of those homeowner style line of tools are pretty much interchangeable. So as I said, the pole saw came with just one of these. So I went back to what I had done on some of the other accessories and made a hanger for this. And that's what we're going to do in today's video. Like I say, it's very simple. It's a very simple video, but maybe it'll benefit someone out there. The diameter of these extensions is 1 inch, and that just happens to fit well a piece of 1-inch PVC pipe. I've got a piece cut off here, just rough cut, 1 inch. Let's turn to the lathe now. Since we're in a hobby machine shop, let's use the lathe to clean these ends up. If you're a homeowner, don't have a lathe, you can do that with a file, your pocket knife, whatever. We're going to turn to the lathe and clean this one up. This piece that I cut off is, I think, just a little over 3 inches. I'm going to chuck it up about halfway now, maybe a little less than half. And it's old dingy pipe. I'm just going to clean it up with a Scotch-Brite. Need something a little bit harder than Scotch-Brite, I think. But I've got my facing tool on here now, or on the lathe. And we're going to face this end off to get it square. I'm going to take my file, just clean that, round that off just a little bit on the end here. And I also take my deburring tool and clean that inside out. Now I'm going to get a piece of emery cloth, see if I can't clean it up just a little bit better. I'm going to turn this around, do the same thing on the other end, and then we're going to go over to the drill press and put a couple holes in. Alright, we got our piece of pipe cleaned up a little bit. I've marked at about a 1/2 inch in from one end, and then 2.5 inches in from the other. And again, this is basically a 3-inch piece, so a 1/2 inch in on each end. We're going to set this in our vise. I'm going to go ahead and bottom it out. Now I'm going to drill a 5/16 hole through this. This hole going all the way through will be for the hanger. Then on this end, we'll drill for the little spring latch that's on the accessory itself. Might need to, don't want to squeeze it too much in the vise. Now we'll come over and drill one hole here. Now I'm going to rotate the piece approximately 90 degrees in the drill and drill another hole back here at the 2.5 inch mark. Alright, so what we did on this end, we drilled all the way through. That's where our hanger would be. Then we drilled in one side and 90 degrees in the other side. So let's go over to the mill now. We got a little project we're going to do on the mill. Okay, just like the steps I did over on the lathe, what I'm fixing to do here on the mill can easily be done by hand if you don't have access to a mill. But what we did over on the drill press was drill through holes here. That's where our wire hanger will come out. Down here we drilled a hole through one side, turned it 90 degrees, and got another hole. That is where this little spring latch right here will fit into. Now, we could use it like that. That will snap on. But that's a little bit difficult to get back out now, just simply because of the thickness of this pipe. So we got to get it just right to push that in far enough for this to come back out. So we're going to take, on the mill, we're going to take about half of the thickness of this off, about 70 thousandths off of these two holes we drilled in the end for the spring clip. What that'll do is give a little relief there. Now the ones of these I made many years ago, before I had a mill. I actually did it with my grinding stone. Just ground some relief in there. And it would be simple enough to do it as well with a file. But I've got a 3/4 inch end mill in here now, and we're going to use my micrometer. Guess you know what an micrometer is. But by eye, we're going to line that up centered over that hole. We're going to touch off, zero out the DRO. And again, we're going to take about 70 thousandths off. If you happen to be using thin wall PVC pipe, this step probably wouldn't even be necessary. Alright, now let's turn it 90 degrees. And again, I'm just using my micrometer on this. We'll come back up and be sure we're as close to center as we can, as we want to get it for this project. Come back down my 70 thousandths again. I'll take my knife and trim that up a little bit. But what that has done, obviously, is made this much easier to get back off now. I'll explain to you the reason for the two holes in this when we get the wire hanger on. So let's turn back to the workbench now and make our wire hanger. All right, the hangers that came with the with some of the accessories I have for my cord trimmer head has an eyelet over here. We're going to duplicate that. Well, we're going to make an eyelet, but it's going to be a little bit different than that. A little bit simpler. What I've got is a piece of 12-inch or 6-inch number 12 copper wire. And again, that's just something that I had. Stripped a piece of it off. I'm going to mark the center line for that. Then I'm going to take my round nose pliers and simply give it a little round over bend. Now we're going to mark about 3/4 of an inch in on each one of these legs. And again, we're going to put the rounding pliers right on that mark. And come back up with it. To make something to this effect, we'll close that in just a little bit. 3/4 might have been a little bit long. But now we'll take our piece that we just made, hook that in, push that other one in until it springs in place. And simply make a wire hanger. Now, back the camera up just a little bit and I'll show you the purpose of doing these two holes 90 degrees apart. Depending on the implement that you're wanting to hang, you may want it to hang like such, or you may need it turned 90 degrees. And that's what these two holes are for. That one, of course, hangs it in this orientation. Slide that in. And now it's hung in the other orientation. The factory ones come with through holes 4 sides. I guess that's so you could hang it any of 4 positions and get this hanger, this loop. That black loop don't show up too good on my black shirts and background, but you could have it as such, that way, this way, or like that with the 4. With the hanger being in the top of ours, we only need the 2 positions. Again, this was a very simple little project, just something that I thought some of you may be interested in seeing or hearing about. I am still working on the Harbor Freight hoist project. I had hoped this week to have the I-beam in place under the shelter and have the hoist mounted on it, or at least show that being done. But it has rained the good part of this week, and it's turned off a little bit cool. And the third reason I hadn't got to that point, school's back in session now, My grandson is not available to come over with his friends right now. I may be able to get him on the weekend. I'm not sure about this Saturday, but maybe next week I'll be able to get him over here and we can get back on that project. But in the meantime, I wanted to put this little tidbit out for you. Hope you've enjoyed it. Take care, and I'll see you on the next video.